It is officially 12:01, and so I will call together this meeting of the Monroe County Election Board that is being held on May 17th, 2024. And we started at 12:01 for a reason. For those of you in the audience or who are watching online, a voter who has been issued a provisional ballot has until noon, 10 days after the election, to cure whatever the reason was that caused them to be issued a provisional ballot. We do not turn voters away, and so whatever reason, and an example might be if you forgot your ID when you showed up at the polling site, you then have 10 days to bring a copy of your ID to us so that we can see that you were in fact eligible to vote and properly registered on election day. We will not mention any voters by name. We will only refer to them by number. To my right is Republican member Judith Bankhart. Our Democratic member is out of town at a meeting today. To my left is Election Supervisor Kylie Moreland. What will happen as we go through each precinct, I will tell you the location, I will tell you the precincts that they encompassed, and how many people who voted provisionally at that location. And we will look for why it was issued provisionally and see if it has been rectified. Does anybody have any questions in the audience? Okay, I don't believe there's a means to get questions online, but if there is and somebody can give me a signal, I'm happy to stop and address that question. I don't want to be formal. If you have a question in real time and you don't understand why we're doing what we're doing, I'd be happy to answer. Fair enough? All right, everybody. So the bags are here. And the first one is from the Academy. Those in the audience here will note that that the bag is locked and it is intact, and I am going to break the seal. That's what I'll be doing for every bag. In this one, I understand I should find 2 provisional ballots. I see a lot more envelopes, so it'll be very interesting. Just probably got some blank ones. I see 2. The rest of these are blank. Okay, so the Academy encompassed precincts Perry 1, Perry 29, and Perry 30. There are 2 voters. Voter number 1, I'm looking for comments, but my cheat notes say that they are registered in Elkhart County, which of course is not Monroe County. Okay, so they have checked not registered. Our records indicate that it is because they are registered in Monroe County. I'm sorry, what did I say? Might be a little tired. Registered in Elkhart County, not Monroe. Elkhart, not Monroe. Thank you. I will entertain a motion. You'll have to make all of the motions. I will entertain a motion for voter number 1.
I make a motion that voter number 1's ballot be rejected.
I will second that motion, and will you call the roll, Ms. Ashley?
Nicole Brown,
Reject.
Judith Benkert,
Reject.
Motion passes unanimously, and voter number 1's ballot is not accepted.
Does this need to have a...
Why don't we do a no pile on your side and a yes pile on my side, and then that way we'll know which ones to give to our team once we decide that we're going to count them. Is that fair?
Perfect.
Okay. Voter number 2. This voter's name is included on the poll list, but the voter does not currently reside in the precinct and is not entitled to vote in the precinct. So they showed up again at the Academy, which encompasses Perry 1, Perry 29, and Perry 30, but they appear to be properly registered in Bloomington 18. So they showed up, but were not at the right location. I do not see any additional comments on
If there
it.
was any additional, it would be here.
Okay.
I make a motion that voter number 2's ballot be rejected.
I will second that motion.
Nicole Brown?
Reject.
Judith Benkert?
Reject.
We are done with the academy. Moving on to Bloomington High School North, where we should only find one. That means we are addressing voter number 3. Okay. This is,
It was sealed but wasn't clicked fully.
it was sealed but not clicked. Okay. I am removing the seal. This is my first time touching this bag, and we should only find one in here. And that is correct. Okay. What is checked is that voter number 3, oh, did I go back? Let me go back. Bloomington High School North encompasses Bloomington 4, Bloomington 13, and Bloomington 17. Bloomington High School North. The first box is checked, which says this voter's name is not included on the poll list and they are not entitled to vote by using a fail-safe procedure. My notes indicate that they are registered in Warwick County, which I believe is south of us. They submitted an online registration in Monroe County on 4/25. And for those of you in the audience and with us online, you would have had to have registered by noon on the April 9th or online by midnight on Eclipse Day. Remember that, April 8th?
Yep.
So if they submitted theirs online, it should have been to us by April 8th at 11:59 p.m. We received it on April 25th. They will be eligible to vote in the general, but they are not currently eligible. They could have gone back to Warwick County one last time.
I make a motion that voter number 3's ballot be rejected.
I will second that motion.
Nicole Brown?
Reject.
Judith Benkert?
Reject.
And sorry to that person. Look forward to seeing you in November. We are moving on to voter number 4, and this is for the polling location of Bloomington High School South, which encompasses Perry 9, Perry 10, Perry 12, Perry 13, and Perry 32. They had to be awfully busy. This is locked and the seal has not been tampered with. I should only find one here, and in fact, I only find one. Okay, so this person, my notes indicate that this is registered in Perry 12, so they were eligible to vote at Bloomington South, but they were unable or declined to present proof of identification when required by law to do so. They did not have their ID. Have they cured their ID in the 10 days?
No, they have not.
Okay. Once again, for those who are listening or in the audience, you have 10 days to show us your identification and that it was valid the day that you voted, or that it was one that we could accept the day that you voted, and apparently that did not happen.
I make a motion that voter number 4's ballot be rejected.
I will second that motion.
Nicole Brown?
Reject.
Judith Benkert?
Reject.
Motion passes unanimously. We are moving on to the next one, which was Eastview Church of the Nazarene, which encompassed precincts Perry 21, Perry 22, Perry 26, and Salt Creek. And this voter number 5, is registered in Salt Creek. There should only be one. Nothing has been tampered with. And I do only find one. Registered in Salt Creek, what was checked was this voter was unable or declined to present proof of identification when required by law to do so. So they were in the right place, but no identification, and it does not appear that identification was presented within the 10-day deadline.
I make a motion that voter number 5's ballot be rejected.
I will second the motion.
Nicole Brown?
Reject.
Judith Benkert?
Reject.
Motion passes unanimously. Moving to the next one, which is for election operations. So we had early voting at election operations, but then it also doubled as a polling site for us on Election Day for precincts Bloomington 3, Bloomington 7, Perry 6, Perry 8, Perry 15, and Perry 31. Looks to me like we only have 2 voters, so I should only find 2 in here. This is intact, and I just broke the seal. Extra one in the bag. Okay. We know what happened with these inspectors. They just put all the green ones in here, but we're looking for 2. And I do find 2. Okay. Voter number 6. My notes indicate that they were registered in Bloomington 19. That is not a precinct that was served by election operations on Election Day. And what is checked is the voter's name is included on the poll list, but this voter does not currently reside in the precinct and is not entitled to vote in this precinct by completing a VRG 412 form or a VRG 15 form or other fail-safe procedures. So they are a registered voter, showed up at the wrong place. Perhaps were not in a position to go to the right place to where they needed to actually cast a ballot.
I make a motion that voter number 6's ballot be rejected.
Okay, I will second that motion.
Nicole Brown?
Reject.
Judith Benkert?
Reject.
Motion passes unanimously.
Need to tape that.
So the inspector would have not taped it down. Certainly, we're not ever going to look in it. Oh, sorry. We're not ever going to look in it. But yes, if we can tape that down.
All right.
Okay, and then voter number 7. Same thing. We actually could have bundled those. That's completely, no, they checked a different reason. Okay. So voter number 7 registered in Perry 27, again, not something that was encompassed by voting at election operations. And what they checked was this voter's name is not included on the poll list and they are not entitled to use the fail-safe. So, but they were registered,
Just not at
just
that
not at the
location,
right location.
Which that is what it will say whenever they're at the wrong location. It will pull up that they're not in
Okay, so
there,
then
and
the
then
other-
it shows where their location is.
So for the other one, the inspector just checked the wrong
Yeah.
box? Okay.
I make a motion that voter number 7's ballot be rejected.
Second?
Nicole Brown?
Reject.
Judith Benkert?
Reject.
Okay, motion passes unanimously, and we are moving on to Grandview Elementary School, which encompasses Van Buren 4, Van Buren 5, and Van Buren 6. We should have 2. This is intact, breaking the seal. There are in fact 2 in here. So, voter number 8. My notes indicate that they are registered in Owen County. There is a sticky note saying that they registered through FSSA, and box number 9 is checked, which says voter has registered through through FSSA, but can't find it. This is always one of those regrettable things where we have other agencies, which we're grateful that they're willing to register people to vote, but it doesn't always come through to us. And so apparently we could not find that they were registered. And so they were issued the provisional ballot.
And we reached out to FSSA, and they did not have anything or didn't respond or
So with that, they were still registered through Owen County. So on that, we reach out to, we have to go based off of what's in SVRS. So they were registered in Owen County.
Oh, okay.
And they
Whenever
could've-
they
I'm
came,
sorry, I got ahead.
they tried through FSSA.
Yeah, they could have gone to Owen County one
Got
last
it.
time to vote,
Okay.
since that's where they showed up. But I am hopeful that they will get that taken care of.
More than likely, they filled out one while they were there that day.
Okay, very good. I make a motion that voter number 8's ballot be rejected.
Second?
Nicole Brown,
Reject.
Judith Benhart,
Reject.
Voter number 9, I see a date of birth, registered in Van Buren 4. Van Buren 4 is a precinct at Grandview Elementary. The voter registration and the voter driver's license show a different date of birth. The voter verbally must have stated that their date of birth was correct and that the driver's license is in error. And what has been checked is the voter has the wrong DLB on his driver's license and in the system. I don't know that I've ever seen anything like this before, but I'm gonna guess he knows his date of birth. My inclination immediately is to err in favor of the voter. They should have left making sure their license, this may have been the first time it was brought to this voter's attention. But it's showing that, I mean, his correct date of birth, he is older than the date of birth that shows on his driver's license. So this isn't like 17, 18, you know, where they would be on the cusp. If he was old enough on the date on his license, he was certainly old enough on the date that we have.
Correct. I agree. I make a motion that voter number 9's ballot be accepted.
I will second that motion.
Nicole Brown,
Accept.
Judith Benhart,
Accept.
And that motion passes unanimously. And thank goodness we can count one. Moving on to the next one. Okay, that is the Harrison, no coffee today, everybody. Harrisburg Community Center. That encompasses Clear Creek 3. And we only have one, so that I should only find one in here. It is intact. I am breaking the seal. My notes indicate that this voter is registered in Lawrence County, submitted a Monroe County registration for their new precinct at Indian Creek on the day of the election, which was past the deadline. Again, the deadline was April 8th, Eclipse Day, if you were registering online, or April 9th at noon if you were registering in person. And what was checked, if I'm reading this right, the voter's name is not included on the poll list and they are not entitled to vote using a fail-safe procedure. And our records indicate that they are registered in Lawrence, so they could have gone back there one last time if they renewed their registration on Election Day. Maybe they didn't have time.
I make a motion that voter number 10's ballot be rejected.
Second.
Nicole Brown,
Reject.
Judith Benhart,
Reject.
Motion carries unanimously. Please do vote in the general and get registered here. Okay, next we are moving on to Highland Park Elementary, and we only have, my records show one. Everything is sealed and intact. Okay. The notes indicate that there is a cancel registration. Wait, please let me back up. At Highland Park Elementary, that encompasses Van Buren 1, Van Buren 2, Van Buren 3. Our information indicates that voter number 11 has a cancel registration in Perry 5. The previous registration, and they list an address in Perry 5, was canceled on April 21st, 2023. Due to SVRS look back. SVRS is our statewide voter registration on rejected incomplete registration for new address. The voter submitted a new registration online at this address in Bloomington, which is Van Buren number 1, which had they done that before the deadline, they would have been in compliance. It was past the deadline. It should go forward once the hopper has been unlocked, and we should be able to accept them. We should be able to look forward to seeing them in the general. The envelope says that the voter registration was canceled per Election Central. So the inspector would have called in, told that the voter registration was canceled. There's a note, failed to have voter complete this part. I'm guessing that because they didn't get the signature.
Oh, they're circling here.
Right, but they didn't, wait. I see what you're saying. I thought they were looking for a signature here, but
They've circled.
Yeah, so they didn't add in their date of birth,
Oh, the rest
their
are just the
address.
Okay,
Just
they
the
needed
name.
to
And then
fill
they
all
needed-
those blanks
yeah.
in, got it,
Yeah.
okay. I make a motion that voter number 11's ballot be rejected.
second,
Nicole Brown,
reject.
Judith Benhart,
Reject.
Motion passes unanimously. We are moving on to Indiana Memorial Union with a note,
Yeah, it's a letter from a voter.
a letter from a voter. Okay. Indiana Memorial Union encompasses precincts Bloomington 5, Bloomington 18, Bloomington 19, Bloomington 23. We have two, and since we got a letter,
It is one of the,
it is from voter number 12. Would you like me to read the letter into the minutes without using that person's name?
sure.
To the Monroe County Election Board, I was provided a provisional ballot due to arriving at the wrong precinct. I chose the one closest to me, which is IMU at Indiana University, as I work two jobs, from 7:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. and from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Given the narrow window between 2 and 3, the correct precinct at Benford Elementary, the distance between my jobs, IU and downtown, and my lack of a vehicle, it was simply not possible for me to vote at Benford Elementary. I sincerely hope you all understand my reasonings for such an error. Voting is extremely important to me, and I hope my situation doesn't prevent me from performing my civic duty, and it is signed by voter number 12. This is so heart-wrenching because they did everything that they could. The only thing that I will say is that the polls did open at 6, and I would have loved it if they could have gone to the polling site at 6 o'clock and cast that ballot before having to arrive at work at 7:30. But that voter is actually registered in Bloomington 8 and submitted the letter. So
You haven't opened.
I haven't opened it. I got so consumed by the letter. Love you all, mean it. All right, it is sealed, breaking the seal. I should only find 2 envelopes. I got ahead of myself. And so, number 9 is checked. Voter is voting in a different precinct, and they give the voter's name. And you've seen the letter.
The only thing I would add is that if it's any consolation, because I'm going to make a motion to reject this, is that we will definitely send this letter on to the vote center committee to at least take this into consideration as they make their recommendation to the board in the future with Monroe County,
I think that's a
considering
wonderful idea.
vote centers.
I think that's an absolutely wonderful idea.
With that having been said, I make a motion that voter number 12's ballot be rejected.
Second,
Nicole Brown,
reject.
Judith Benhart,
Reject.
Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to voter number 13, who my notes indicated they are registered in Bloomington 15, which is not a precinct at the Indiana Memorial Union where they showed up to vote. So same thing, voter, number 9 is checked. Voter is voting in a different precinct, and they provide the voter's name. No letter from that person.
I make a motion that voter number 13's ballot be rejected.
Second,
Nicole Brown,
reject.
Judith Benhart,
Reject.
Okay. I got a soft spot in my heart for the next precinct, which is the Meadowwood Retirement Community. They had not been a polling site for a few years due to the pandemic, but made very clear that they were ready to be welcomed back as a polling site. And Kylie and Bob White and I went out there, and so very happy. Hello to my Meadowwood voters. Thank you so much for all you do. There is a note on the bag. I'm not going to forget to open the bag. Meadowwood's list was discovered inside the bag. The old seal was broken, and it's here. They put a new seal on it, and that's the one that I am about to open. So it was not tampered with, and everything is intact. And I will, I don't know if it's important to you that we keep that, but the two seals that were listed on the note. Okay, so Meadowwood is Bloomington 22, and we should have 4. Let me put them in order by the name of the voter. If I can find the name of the voter. Okay, this is 15. This is 14. This is 16, and this should be 17. Okay, so voter number 14 registered in Bloomington 15. And again, with it only, precinct is Bloomington 22, Bloomington 15 would not fall in that. What was checked is the voter's name is not, the voter's name is included on the poll list, but they do not currently reside in the precinct, not entitled to vote. And the notes indicate that the voter has moved and not changed their address. I am prayerful that they change their address on Election Day so that this will not be an issue in November.
I make a motion that voter number 14's ballot be rejected.
Second.
Nicole Brown,
Reject.
Judith Benkart,
Reject.
Motion carries unanimously. Moving on to voter number 15, registered in Clear Creek 3. Say that 5 times fast. But appeared at Meadowwood, which is Bloomington 22. The voters submitted a Monroe County registration for their new precinct, which is Bloomington 22 at Meadowwood. They did that on the 8th, which was past the
day after Election Day.
You could until noon? Oh, I'm sorry, the day after election. I'm seeing May,
5/8, not
but
4/8.
thinking April. So yes, they submitted a new one the day after the election. And this says, they checked the same one. The voter is included on the poll list, but not at that precinct, registered at their old address. They could have gone back to their old address one last time, or their old precinct one last time and voted. I regret that that didn't happen.
I make a motion that voter number 15's ballot be rejected.
Second.
Nicole Brown,
Reject.
Judith Benkart,
Reject.
Motion carries unanimously, and we are moving on to voter number 16. Okay, are these two that yep, okay. Number 16 and number 17, I believe that we can bundle. They both are registered in Bloomington 22, and Meadowwood is Bloomington 22. So they were a resident who appear to have not presented with their picture identification, and perhaps did not want to go back to their suite and get their identification at Meadowwood. Is that how I understand
We
it?
actually had one that did say that they did not want to go back to the 3rd floor to get their ID, so.
Did we get it later?
No.
They never, okay.
So I know that they have shuttle service, but I certainly would not know if they were able to get them here. Maybe one thing that we could do for the general would be, when we know that we have some for that reason, maybe speak to the Meadowwood staff to see if they could shuttle them over sometime within the 10 days.
That, and we've also decided that we'll reach out to Meadowwood so that they can let their residents know to make sure they have their IDs before they come down to vote for the general.
That's a good idea as well, because they were so excited to have their polling site back, and so this is just regrettable. but I believe we can bundle 16 and 17 with your approval.
Absolutely. I make a motion that voters 16 and 17's ballots be rejected.
Second, with a heavy heart.
Don't cry.
I'm not gonna cry, but, oh,
Nicole Brown?
reject.
Judith Benkhart?
Reject.
My friends at Meadowwood, please bring your ID down. Thank you for voting. We are moving on to Soul Harbor Church. This was a new precinct for our new polling site for us because of the renovations going on at, thank you, Southside Christian Center. So we have one, and that Souls Harbor, it's split, correct? So Souls Harbor encompass Clear Creek 1 and Perry 24, and we should find one envelope in here. The seal is intact. My notes indicate that voter number 18 is registered in Perry 24, so right precinct, but this voter was unable or declined to present proof of identification when required by law to do so. They did not have an ID on election day and did not submit one in the 10 days that they had until noon today, and they did not.
And they didn't indicate with an affidavit or anything that they couldn't afford one or any of that. We didn't receive that.
I see some notes. Nothing that says anything like that. This is why those comments are so important, and we impressed upon the inspectors in this training how important it was, because the election board is going to look for notes regarding any circumstances of which we might not be aware. So all they did was check this, no notes, and they did not come. They would have been told that they had 10 days at the polling site on election day, and they did
Okay.
not.
And they did not follow through with
They
anything?
did not follow through.
Okay. All right. I make a motion that voter number 18's ballot be rejected.
Second,
Nicole Brown?
reject.
Judith Benkhart?
Reject.
Motion carries unanimously. We are moving on to a new precinct, St. John's Catholic Church, which we should have two voters who were issued provisional ballots. St. John's Catholic Church encompasses precincts Richland 3, Richland 4, Richland 7, Richland 8, and Richland 9. And the seal is intact. Looking for two envelopes. That's a very busy polling site. I have been over there on election day. Voter number 16, my notes indicate that they are not registered.
19.
I'm sorry. 19. Hi, still no caffeine. Voter number 19, not registered, showed up at St. John's Catholic Church and was issued a provisional ballot. What is checked is that they are not in the poll book. I don't see any other notes, so they're not even registered anywhere within the state of Indiana.
Okay. I make a motion that voter number 19's ballot be rejected.
Second,
Nicole Brown?
reject.
Judith Benkhart?
Reject.
Motion carries. Voter number 20, I'm back on the right number. Hi, everybody. My notes indicate that they are registered in Bloomington 12. Again, for St. John's, it is the Richland precincts 3, 4, 7, 8, and 9. The voters submitted an online registration for their new precinct, which is Richland 4, so they would have been at the right place, but they presented it on election day, which of course was too late for consideration. The box that was checked indicates that the address was not updated by the BMV. That's always regrettable, because that doesn't sound. Can we discuss this? Because that doesn't sound like it was the voter's fault. If the address was not updated by the VMV, so we're in a situation where it has one thing there and one thing here. When I look at this, when it says the address was not updated by the BMV, I am inclined to err in favor of the voter who showed up at their right precinct. It sounds like then when they got there and they found out,
Then they went to the
they
DMV.
they registered online,
Online, yeah.
but it was on election day, which was past that deadline.
But they technically had already,
They had already
Registered.
but the
With the
BMV
With the
had the
BMV.
wrong address.
I agree with you that we should err in favor of the voter. So I make a motion that voter number 20's ballot be accepted.
Second,
Nicole Brown,
accept.
Judith Benkhart,
Accept.
Motion carries, thank goodness. How many are we up to? Two? It's always heart-wrenching when you have to not accept a ballot, and, but I'm glad in this instance, we could err in favor of the voter, and I am hopeful that then that online, what day does the hopper open back up?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yep.
And then that will be processed. So they were eligible to vote in the primary and did, and they will be great for the general. Fair?
Yes.
Okay, we are moving on to a new polling site, Steinsville. That encompasses Bean Blossom 1, Bean Blossom 1, Bean Blossom 2, Bean Blossom 3. We should find 2 envelopes in here. The seal is intact. It looks to me like something we could bundle, based on the notes that they were underage when they registered.
Most times that's through the BMV when they get their driver's license. The BMV asks if they want to register.
And they said sure,
say sure,
but they
not
were
knowing
16.
that they can't actually vote.
Right, because if they were 17 and were going to turn 18 by November, they would certainly be eligible. I voted at 17. But they must have been 16, and they will not be 18 by the general, or they applied for their license before, well ahead of, they're not going to be 18 before the
Well, they
general.
could have gone back in and registered.
They could
because
have.
This was 2 years ago.
Okay, oh, you're right. The registration submitted on July 8th and August 9th were rejected because they weren't old enough at the time.
And that was in 2022, so.
Both of their birthdays.
Okay, so their birth dates. They're coming up on 20.
Right, so these were, they never went back in.
Yeah, they never
To
went back in to
register
actually
again. They
register.
tried to register in 2022 and never went back in when they were rejected. So this clearly is a time when they did not register.
Yeah.
And had plenty of time to do
Come
it.
in and re-register.
Right.
Okay, this is
re-register.
painful because they're 19 years old, but would you know?
No.
Would you know you needed to go back?
I mean, if they thought they had registered through the BMV, they would assume that they would be registered
But
because they wouldn't get.
they were, I mean, they have had,
They thought they were registered.
except for that they should take the time to
Yeah.
check it out in 2 years. I mean, it's one thing if it had happened recently,
Right.
but it's another when you're talking 2 years and not double checking and,
Well, they're not registered at all.
No.
Not registered, so if you're not
Right.
registered, you cannot vote. That is heart-wrenching. That is,
well, the good news is that they found out in the primary and
Yeah, when
hopefully
they
can
got-
get it fixed before the general.
Yep.
but would you think that your vote was going to count today?
I would say I would be questioning it since I was given a provisional ballot.
I'm only looking at this to see if we got a response from the Indiana Election Division about a tie vote. That is the only reason that I am checking.
Oh.
Okay. I did get a response from the attorney at the Indiana Election Division. Okay, so you know, and perhaps that would apply here, but I think we're going to be on the same page. Generally, if there is a tie, then it is not a majority and the provisional ballot would not be counted. So if you and I don't agree, there's our answer. But in this instance,
Let's hope we don't get to that.
they are not registered.
Right.
So you can't count a ballot for, the whole point of the democracy is that you have to be a registered voter the day that you vote.
Correct.
So I will entertain a motion.
I make a motion that voters number 21 and 22 ballots are rejected.
Second.
Nicole Brown,
Reject.
Judith Benhart,
Reject.
Motion carries unanimously. Please go back and get registered, or come here. We love our voters. Come here, we'll register you. Okay, moving on to the next one. Tri-North Middle School. That encompasses Bloomington 12, Bloomington 14, Bloomington 15, and Bloomington 24.
Bloomington 2, not 12.
Is it? Still no coffee. Bloomington 2, Bloomington 14, Bloomington 15, Bloomington 24. We should find 2 ballots. I'm trying to see if we can bundle those, but I don't know. Seal is intact. I don't think that we can bundle them because it's different reasons. So if you're okay, voter number 23 is registered in Bloomington 15. That is one of the precincts where you would report to Tri-North Middle School. It would appear that that person chose one party to get the ballot for one party by mistake, wanted to vote the other way, so they were issued a provisional ballot. So in the primary, you do have to choose. That's how we get candidates on the ballot for the general, and they chose the wrong one by mistake, and so we're given another ballot.
So, did they vote this, or were they given another one and then?
They were given the one they
correct
asked
one?
for.
They were given the correct one, and that's the provisional.
Okay, so not the one they
other
originally
one would have been
answered?
spoiled and.
Okay,
go
okay.
spell back.
All right. I have no problem with accepting this, do you?
I have no problem.
All right. I make a motion that voter number 23's ballot be accepted.
Second,
Nicole Brown,
accept.
Judith Benhart,
Accept.
Motion passes unanimously, and we move on to voter number 24. Voter number 24 is registered.
Oh, hey, thanks. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. So we're up to 3?
Yes.
3 that we've accepted. Come on. All righty. Voter number 23 is registered in Bloomington 15, which does report to Tri-North Middle School. This voter's name is is included on the poll list, but they do not currently reside in the precinct, not entitled to vote in the precinct by completing a form. But this inspector checked too, and the next one they checked was the voter is identified on the poll list as required to present an additional document confirming that the voter's identity and current address, but has not done so. So no ID, right precinct, no ID, completed a new form to update their address. They are eligible to vote if the proper ID has been presented. Did they present that by by noon today? No. They did not present it, but we would have been able to accept it had they done so.
I make a motion that voter number 24's ballot be rejected.
Second,
Nicole Brown,
reject.
Judith Benhart,
Reject.
Motion passes or carries unanimously. And moving on to the next precinct, University Elementary School, which covers Bloomington 9, Bloomington 10, Bloomington 11, Bloomington 16. We should find 1. My notes indicate that the registration was canceled in Bloomington 10, so they would have been at the right place. Canceled 3 days before the election. I might want some explanation. It says incarceration disenfranchised. Let me open this to make sure that we only have 1, and then I want to say something about the incarceration part. Seal was intact. Only 1 is in here. There, oh, okay. For those people who are incarcerated, our training indicates that it is the day that you want to vote, that determines your status. If you are convicted on that day, you cannot vote. If you are not convicted on that day, you are eligible to vote. When you get out of prison, which means you were convicted and you're serving your sentence, I know I'm preaching to the choir, Your Honor. You do, when you get out of prison, you do have to re-register. So I'm gonna guess we're looking at a situation where
with this, they were released, but when they were released, they never re-registered. So they still show in our system as canceled.
I am prayerful that they were told
Yes.
that all they need to do is show up at our office and register, because you do have to ask for that right back. It is your right to vote once you're released from prison, but you do have to ask for that right back.
I make a motion that voter number 25's ballot be rejected.
Second,
Nicole Brown,
reject.
Judith Benkhart,
Reject.
Motion carries unanimously. Okay, so have we gone through all of the precincts, the polling sites, and we are now on signatures. So for the rest of them, 26, voter 26 through voter 42,
Will be absentee ballots.
okay. And the first ones, we can probably bundle a few. So there was a missing signature on the absentee mail, and the voter was given a chance to come in and cure it. According to my notes, voter 26 through voter 31, they did come in and provide us with the missing signature, and so it has been properly cured. The last two did not. I should find 3, 6, 8 in here, and I would recommend that we address the first 6 together and the last 2 together with your approval. Okay. All right. 3. Thank you to those of you who did come in and cure your signatures. We appreciate that because that certainly makes the difference between our ability to consider and not. Okay. These are the 6 that were cured in a timely manner.
I make a motion that voters number 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and 31's ballots be accepted.
Second,
Nicole Brown,
accept.
Judith Benkhart,
Accept.
Motion carries. Okay, for the last 2, they had until 12 o'clock today to come in and then provide us with a,
Theirs was on Wednesday.
their deadline was Wednesday.
Correct.
And they did not come in by Wednesday to give us a signature, so it was not cured.
I make a motion that voters number 32 and 33's ballots be rejected.
Second,
Nicole Brown,
reject.
Judith Benkhart,
Reject.
Motion carries. Let me just, for those who are in the audience and viewing online, we reach out to them to let them know. That's obviously how the ones who cured it
So
came.
on these, we actually reach out to them as they come in. So once we receive them into our office, we will call them. And so they have, if their ballots come in pretty early, they have quite a bit of time to come in to cure it. So on those, some of them are just ones that aren't able to get out and physically can't come in to cure it, or they just choose not to come in.
I feel like I got a call from someone who they could not come in to cure it.
Yep.
That was the whole reason that they had accepted that they're not able to get out. So it was unfortunate.
Do we have a way, just out of curiosity, that somebody could go out and do it for, get it from them?
I would never object to,
Yeah, we could see about having travel board join in and help with that. On some of these, though, it does end up being like last minute that they do reach out to us. So then at that point, it does get to the point where it's kind of
Well,
more
this is-
difficult. But if they have plenty of time, then they could request possibly for travel board to go out.
This is unfortunate because I don't know what you would have done, but I would have been okay on Election Day sending a bipartisan team to
Absolutely.
get their
I absolutely would.
their signatures. So this is always unfortunate.
Yeah, and then also ones that are coming in later, like the ones that come in on election day or the ones that come in the day before, those are ones that'll be more difficult to do, but we could work on that with the team in the back.
Yeah, as long as you have enough time to go do it.
Yeah.
Very good.
Okay, so we are in the home stretch. We are now going to address the mail signature cures, so for those that are mismatched. And the one that occurs the most often is when a husband and wife and one signs for the other. That happens a lot. You sign for your partner's ballot and instead of your own. And so it looks like,
You can combine 34, 35, 40, and 42.
okay, because those were cured and we received those. So let me pull those out separately.
And then you could also combine 38, 39, and 41 for not cured on time. And then 36 and 37 you can combine together since they are the same household.
Okay, all right, so the seal is intact. And I should find 9. Okay, first let me make sure there's 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. 6, 7, 8. So that one has to be, one of them has either come separated, but we will go through name by name, okay? We can consider voter number 34 together, voter number 35.
40 and 42.
This should be 40. This has come apart from that, that's where that happened. And 42? This is 42. Thank you for putting them in the order that we could consider them. Okay, so these were mismatched signatures and they were cured in a timely manner.
Do you want them to come with us?
Yeah, actually, this is one that we accepted previously. No.
This
He
is this one.
signed,
Right, this is one of them.
yeah. He's one we can consider, but the spouse was in the ones that we just addressed a bit ago.
Okay.
Does that make sense? I can do it again. He,
Where's the spouse one, isn't it?
the spouse one was up
Oh,
here, and she
oh, I
cured
see.
hers, and then he cured his down here.
Okay, and-
So her
okay.
signature was missing. His
Right.
signature, I think he must have signed hers.
Yeah, I have no
'cause it's
problem
mismatched.
with that, because that's been in there, but then this is,
The ones that you're looking at now are the ones that were, we got the cures in.
got it. I just,
In time.
it's just more paperwork than,
Yeah.
and I'm just trying to make sure. Okay, and that goes with this one, and.
That's the problem that I was having too,
Well,
which
I
ones.
can understand, yeah, this all goes together, so, all right, I make a motion that voters 34, 35, 40, and 42's ballots be accepted.
Second,
Nicole Brown?
accept.
Judith Benker?
Accept.
Motion carries unanimously. Give me just a minute to make sure I've got the right accept on the right voter. 40 and 42. Okay,
These are the 3 that we did not receive the cures.
okay.
So this will be 38, 39, and 41.
38, 39, and 41. So mismatched signatures, but they did not, they had until Wednesday?
Yes.
at the close of the day?
Noon.
Noon. And they did not come in. So 38, 39, and 41.
I make a motion that ballots of voters 38, 39, and 41 be rejected.
Second,
Nicole Brown,
reject.
Judith Benford,
Reject.
Motion carries unanimously. And the last two, we're to the last two. Okay, so we are looking at 36 and 37. Clearly a married couple, lives in the same house.
This is 36 and 37. They're stapled together since they were in the same household.
We can bundle them. The spouses signed for one another.
Yeah, they signed each other's ballots instead of their own.
E insists that they did not sign each other's. So one spouse with that initial said, that's not accurate.
And then in the red ink on that note also says that they did say they would not come in to sign.
So they were given an opportunity to sign and said, sorry.
And that they think they signed the correct ones.
They believe they signed the correct ones. Bless their heart. Bless their heart.
I have no problem with accepting these.
I would.
All right. I make a motion that voters' numbers, ballots, let's see.
36 and
37, is it 37 and 30? No, 36 and 37 be accepted.
Second,
Nicole Brown,
accept.
Judith Benford.
Accept.
Motion carries unanimously, and congratulations, we counted your ballot. I said, I'm gonna tell them how it's gonna be.
So that puts us at 15 of the 42 were accepted.
15 of the 42 were accepted. That's not, I can't do math that quickly, but a little less than half. So, at this time, shall we recess until the next board meeting?
There was something that, do we need to do anything with the proxy for the vote center?
I'm sorry, the proxy for
There
the,
was an email, I don't know if we can do that now, but an email from David Henry about.
Evan, the student.
do you
Right.
want to read, or give me that email to read into the minutes?
I don't have it on hand. Do you have it? Okay.
Find out, let's hope so.
Since we do take minutes,
matter
at
of
some point,
fact.
if we could have it printed.
There you go.
Okay. Okay. Do you want me to go ahead and read it into the
Sure,
minutes? Okay.
yes.
So this is an email to the board from the party chair, from the Democratic Party chair, that said, all. Evan has told me that he is unable to serve the summer as he needs to return home but does not wish to resign the seat. I also would prefer that Evan return to the seat when he comes back to campus in August. We identified a proxy for his seat, and he names Alex Workman, who is copied here. As I know the board changed the policy and charter for the Vote Center Study Committee after my term, I am not sure how we slot proxy at this point to make sure that the committee can continue to do its work. Secondly, I believe Steve Volan should be in attendance now that the semester is over. If there are any issues with the Democratic appointments to the committee that require either a reappointment or notice of proxy, please do let me know. And also let me know if Alex needs to do anything additional from Evan to be slotted as proxy. So that has been read for the minutes. It sounds like a proxy has been named that they're comfortable with. If the party chair is comfortable with it, so am I, but I am open to discussion.
I have no reason to doubt that the Alex wouldn't be a good proxy, so I have no problem accepting him to replace Evan while Evan's home for the summer.
Is that a motion?
It is a motion,
Second?
All right, Nicole Brown,
Yes.
Judith Benford,
yes.
Okay, so congratulations, Alex Workman, and welcome to the Vote Center Committee, and we hope your experience is an amazing one. With that, is there any further business?
I was just going to say Vote Center Committee meetings next week on Wednesday.
The Vote Center Committee meeting is next Wednesday. That date is May 22nd. The time is 5 o'clock.
p.m. and it will be at the Showers Building.
5 p.m. at the Showers Building. At this time, what is going to happen is that the votes that have been, or the ballots that have been accepted will go with our IT representative and the election supervisor to be counted. The rest will be locked away. We will never look at them, and I am happy to entertain a motion to recess until our next meeting.
I make a motion to recess.
I will second that motion.
Nicole Brown,
Yes,
Judith Benkert.
Yes.
we are in recess. Thank you, everybody.